more about grandfather Archie. So he's come to see Archie's son, John, who knows all about his footballing glory days.
He achieved something which was really quite special in those days in the junior game. He was cap for Scotland.
Hey.
And that's the jersey he wore.
Is it really?
Yeah.
Do you know what, the whole cap thing? I didn't think you ever actually got a cap.
Yeah. Scotland versus Ireland.
Right.
1932-33. And that's the jersey he wore in that photograph. That was about 1932.
Where is he?
Can you pick him out?
All the photos I've seen he's older in, you see.
There.
Oh, right. It's not the slick back hair. That was obviously a permanent feature.
He moved on to Derry City.
And how did Derry City come about?
I think Derry City probably had money that would entice him over there. And these were just typical of the photographs of that era.
McLeod is on the mark this time, scoring against Portadown. So that's him actually scoring a goal?
Yeah, it's him. You were never really interested in football, were you?
It was never a big thing for me. I tried to play it and I was rubbish.
Did you?
So maybe if I'd been naturally gifted like Archie, I might have stuck with it. But partly because of that and partly because growing up in Glasgow, I always found it safer not to align yourself. You avoid the fights that way, you know. Yes. As you know, the whole the sectarian divide in Glasgow, the whole Catholic Protestant thing tends to go along the lines of the football teams as well.
Yes.
I do remember Gran being a little bit unreconstructed in some of her views. I remember she wouldn't have green in the house because she saw that as...
Oh, yes, it was...
as Catholic Irish.
Yes, absolutely, yes. That was,
is that as simple as what it was?
It really was. If you were... You know, I've mentioned the fact that she maybe wasn't quite as strong or whatever in different directions with this divide, but that was one that she was consistent with all her life.
I'd like to imagine that her political beliefs weren't quite as right-wing, perhaps, but...
I would say they were right-wing.
Okay. Well, still loved you, Granny, but, you know, we've got some stuff to address here. Perhaps I'll go to Derry and find out.
Derry City's home ground in Londonderry in Northern Ireland. It was here in the 1930s that Archie McLeod became a local superstar. David's with Billy and Barry McLaughlin, Irish cousins he's never met before, who've supported Derry City for 40 years. This is where his grandfather scored 57 goals in a single season, a remarkable record that still stands today.
Archie McLeod would play here on a wintry day, a wintry Saturday, and the wing would run up here.
Yeah.
On a wet, sodden ground, and a big heavy ball, and he would cross the ball over, and Archie would head it up for another goal.
Yeah.
In the crowd, Archie and Nellie are still remembered by former Derry player Matt Doherty.
So Matt, I've met you tonight. Yes. You played for Derry City.
I played for Derry City, yes.
And your dad played for Derry City.
Correct, yes.
And your dad played with my granddad.
That's right. I must tell you about the day my mother told me about. She was sitting in the stand with Nellie Blair on the other side.
Yeah.
And a few of the supporters was giving Nellie a hard time about Archie, knowing that she was engaged to Archie.
Right.
And they weren't married at this time. And of course, Nellie stood up and walloped them over the heads with her umbrella.
That sounds like the granny that I knew. I have to say that really? that would figure. Is it true that Nellie was a bit of a beauty queen? Do you think he sort of noticed? I might go and have a wee chat.
He stole a good-looking woman out of Derry.
Yeah. So would that have been quite a sort of celebrated couple then, do you think?
Oh, of course.
Yeah. I like that idea.
Beckham and...
It's Posh and Becks.
Posh,
yeah. It's Posh and Becks. Archie must have had a ball coming here. He must have come to Derry and thought, this is God's country, and I'm a big star here, and I'm going to go out with a local beauty queen, and I'm going to have a rare old time. So, go on your cell, Archie, that's what I say. It's great here. It's nice hearing bits and pieces about Gran tonight as well, because it all ties in with the woman I remember, who of course was much older and had lived a life by then, but the idea of her being here and being quite a formidable character and battering people with her umbrella, that all fits. That makes sense. Well, I'm looking for Cluny Terrace, where Nellie, my grandmother, lived and indeed returned to have my mum. I think this is it. This is it. This is 47 Cluny Terrace, where Nellie grew up. She would not like that it was now an off-licence. That would not suit Nellie at all. She'd be right affronted by that. It's weird to think Mum was born. Obviously not in an off-licence, but that's what I'll be telling her when I go back.
But being a footballer's wife in the 1930s was very different from today. Despite being a star player, Archie earned just £5 a week. The young couple had to live with Nellie's parents until injury ended Archie's career and they had to return to Scotland.
Since I arrived here, the weather has been so nice. It has a slightly fairy tale feel, rediscovering this bit of family history and imagining them all living in this beautiful, sunny idyll. But of course, it's a Celtic country, so it must have rained most of the time. But right now, it's rather nice to believe that young Nellie hopped and skipped along this street with the sun cracking the pavement. She'll have been wet most of the time, though.
But Nellie grew up amidst a storm of sectarian tension between Protestants and Catholics. David wants to explore his grandmother's background and find the roots of her staunch Protestant views.
I suppose it'll be interesting to know how vociferous and antagonistic that was, that world Nellie grew up in, or whether they were just sort of received opinions that were sort of hot air rather than anything more violent, I suppose, for want of a better word. I've never been to Northern Ireland before, so all one sees is the kind of, you grow up with a reports of all the violence when I was a kid, and Derry, of course, was often mentioned in those reports. It seems such a beautiful place, just looking at it completely objectively at the moment. You can't quite imagine that it's a violent place.
Londonderry is still dominated by its ancient siege walls, a reminder that the city has been associated with religious strife and sectarianism for hundreds of years. Ireland was a mainly Catholic country until the early 17th century, when English Protestant settlers were given land confiscated from the Irish. In 1688, Londonderry became the front line of the struggle for the English crown between Protestant King William of Orange and deposed Catholic King James II. The city's Protestant garrison was besieged by the Catholic army for 105 days until relief arrived from William of Orange. The Siege of Derry is still celebrated today by Protestant organisations like Orange Lodges, which march every summer to commemorate the victory over the Catholics.